entire summer, while his parents were at work, Liam spent his days at a storage facility where his grandmother worked. The school's summer program had been canceled due to renovations, and Liam refused to stay home alone. After some hesitation, his grandmother agreed to take him with her to work. The storage building stood among utility structures, old boarded-up buildings and maintenance sheds. Behind it stretched an empty lot. It rose above the nearby buildings, a concrete structure with narrow windows and a single door. The door was metal, painted a faded red, secured with a heavy padlock. Across it, in large, uneven white letters, someone had written, "Storage." Inside, supplies for railway workers were kept there. A major rail line ran through the town, and much of the population worked on it. Liam's grandmother was the storekeeper. Every morning she turned on a light above a single desk near the entrance. The desk was covered with papers, inventory forms, logs, and receipts. It stood alone in a dim yellow pool of light. The rest of the storage remained in darkness. The overhead lights never worked, so they used a large, heavy flashlight. Liam would arrive in the morning and immediately run into the darkness, as if diving into water. The storage was filled with tall shelves stacked with what felt like treasures. Boxes of radio parts, microchips, lamps, crates of spare signal lenses, thick, heavy discs of glass in red, green, and blue. In the far corner was a pile of winter coats, heavy and layered, forming a soft mound. Liam would run at it and climb to the top. Sometimes he even fell asleep there. In one box, he found dozens of long, white candles. With them, exploring became even more exciting. Wires, instruments, sensors. In the flickering light, everything looked like hidden treasure. Liam opened every box he could reach and quietly examined whatever he found. Sometimes he brought things to his grandmother. Without looking up, she would briefly explain what they were for. She was always writing. Her fingers were stained blue from leaking ink and carbon paper. Some of the upper shelves were empty. Liam would climb onto them using nearby cabinets, like a sailor climbing a mast. Sitting in the dust, he would unwrap the chocolate his grandmother gave him and watch everything below. It didn't take him long to realize that besides him, his grandmother, and the ever-present but unseen rats, there was something else in the storage. In a corner behind the shelves, twice a day, exactly at 12 and again at 3:30, a transparent man appeared. He was tall, wearing a coat, holding an umbrella and a briefcase. He had a long face and glasses with thick frames. For a few seconds he stood still, looking around. Then he frowned, as if he had entered the wrong place, and walked straight into the wall. This happened every day, exactly the same. At first, Liam thought the man was lost and wanted to help him, but the man never noticed him. Eventually, Liam stopped worrying about it. Still, once a week, he checked the corner, just in case. But he never disappeared. He was as precise as a clock. Behind the pile of coats, there was a particular wall. If you leaned against it, you could hear a radio. It quietly played marches and old songs. Sometimes there were broadcasts about a war. On the other side of that wall was the empty lot. Liam searched all over it, trying to find the source of the sound, but eventually he understood. The radio was coming from inside the wall itself. Listening to it was interesting, but sometimes the broadcasts would suddenly cut off into static, as if someone had sharply turned a tuning dial. Under a lower shelf, near some aluminum containers, something lived. Liam tried to give it a name, but couldn't. It looked like a mass of folded skin, disturbingly human. It had one short, deformed arm with 3 fingers. Whenever Liam came near, it would tremble in fear. So he tried not to visit it too often. In the middle of the day, his grandmother would prepare lunch. She heated food on an old electric stove buried under paperwork. She served it on light, delicate plates with floral patterns. There was always something different: cutlets, casseroles, pies. Neither she nor Liam liked side dishes, so she allowed him to leave uneaten potatoes or boiled vegetables. Sometimes, Liam secretly wrapped the leftovers in paper and carried them to the far wall. There was a hole in it.
It looked like a tunnel stretching endlessly into darkness. He would shine the flashlight inside, but never saw the end. And on the other side of the wall, there was no hole at all. Liam would leave the food, then turn away for exactly 5 seconds. When he turned back, the food would be gone. In its place, a small piece of colored glass. If he turned too early or too late, there was nothing. Liam collected the glass pieces. He liked looking at people through them. Faces became wrong. Some had 2 heads. Others had extra eyes or mouths. Liam didn't know what it meant, but he enjoyed watching. Most of the time, though, he stayed near his grandmother, and through the glass, she always looked completely normal. At the end of summer, Liam got sick. He spent a week at home with a sore throat, barely able to speak.
Mom,
Yes, Liam?
I'm feeling better now. When I recover,
We'll go to the countryside. You'll swim, eat berries.
yeah, but after that, can I go to Grandma?
Where?
To the storage. To Grandma.
What grandmother, Liam?
His mother frowned. Her parents lived far away. His father had grown up in an orphanage and never knew his own parents. But Liam spoke with complete sincerity. After listening to him, his mother turned pale and rushed to his father. When Liam recovered, they took him to the storage building. The path to it had grown over with grass, as if no one had used it in a long time. The building was locked. The padlock was covered in thick dust. The white word on the door was still there, but someone had added something beneath it in crooked chalk. Now it read, "Grave." His parents didn't scold him much. Mostly, they were relieved. They told him to stop making things up. There was barely any summer left. School would start soon, and he would no longer wander empty lots or invent stories. On the last day of summer, Liam was sent to buy bread. Lost in thought, chewing on a fresh loaf, he passed the empty lot. He stopped, waited, then turned onto the familiar path. The windows were dark. The lock still hung on the door. Liam sighed, sat down on the step, hugging his knees, placed the bag of bread beside him, raised his hand, and knocked. For a second, nothing happened. Then, the metal shackle of the lock slowly twisted open. With a heavy clank, the lock fell. The door creaked open. From the darkness inside, his grandmother stepped forward. She smiled and moved aside.
You finally came back? Missed it?
Hi, Grandma. Yeah,
Well, come in.
And Liam, smiling happily, stepped inside.